see that Ben Johnson has cited you as one of his offensive influences. Do you see the similarities? Do you have a relationship? Tell us about that part of it first.
Well, I'd gone down to Miami when he was down there as an offensive assistant. I spent a week down there, and you get to know the staff while you're there. And he's a guy that would keep asking questions about what we did, and he's one of the very few guys. I've done a lot of visiting since I've been retired, but he's one of the very few guys that really understood what we were trying to do on an intimate level. I was really kind of taken back by that. Very smart, very, very passionate. I just think that he's a superstar. You know, I think it's been coming for a long time, but he's prepared for this. I don't know if I've seen anybody call a game better than him. You know, the guys play at a high level, all the attention to detail, all the things that you'd like to think that you did as a coach, he does, you know, without question. I look at the footwork and the offensive linemen, the wide receivers, the routes, the quarterback. I mean, everything's in place and coached at the very finest level. And that's leadership, that's intelligence, that's in preparation, and a lot of great things. Chicago hit a home run here, I think.
Wow, so you're talking about preparation and details and such, but let me follow up on, you said you're not sure you've seen somebody call a game better. So him as a play caller, tell us what you see when you watch that part of it.
Well, to me, it's the most critical thing about coordinators on both sides of the ball. And so many of them just don't get it. You know, you've got to be able to adjust for what you see out there. You know, when something comes up that you haven't seen out of that team before, you got to be able to change gears and attack at a different level, be able to put together at the last second, and the guy's got to be able to execute and understand it. And he does that. Not many guys do that. How many guys have the ability to adjust? They're stuck in what they do, and we'll just do a better kind of dumb stuff. But he doesn't do that. He's that guy that can be very creative, switch gears. Oh, they're blitzing us now first and second down. It's something they haven't done in the past. Oh, here's what we got to do, you know. He has an answer for it, and that's incredibly important, and not very many guys in the league do that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like what I'm hearing from you, Mike Martz, is that he's one of those guys that he just has it. He's got it. Like when somebody like you, who has done what you have done in the league as a head coach and as an offensive coordinator in multiple stops, including here with the Bears, that you can recognize a guy that has got it. You also said that his intelligence can be part of leadership, and that it doesn't, and you didn't say this is what I'm saying, it doesn't necessarily have to be an overbearing, crazy, loud voice in there as well. Is that kind of what you were getting at too, that his intelligence and his direction and the identity building can be leadership as well with somebody like Ben Johnson?
Most definitely. The big thing is players in the NFL, if they know that you know it, you can help them get better and help them win, they're all ears. Then you got them completely. And not, you know, the first few weeks or so, a guy gets with the coach, a player gets with the coach, they figure him out pretty quick, you know, and then they either listen to him kind of, or they're all in or they're all out. It's just that easy. And he's going to capture him right away because he knows what he's talking about. He's going to make them all better. You know, they're all going to get better because of him. I think he's a once-in-a-generation kind of coach. They just don't come around very often like him. You know, they got this one right. I'm just over the moon on this one. It's great to see Chicago have something like exciting like this happen to him, and that in the quarterback. And, of course, you know, we haven't talked about him, but I think Caleb, when they drafted him, of all the quarterbacks they've had some pretty good ones, but I think he could be just an absolute great player if they got it right with him too.
Well, let's talk about him. The numbers ended up looking pretty damn good, especially when you consider 3 different offensive coordinators during the course of 1 year and everything that went on. I've thought often about you, Mike Martz, when we talk about anticipatory passers and try to figure out, because, hell, we talked about Mitch Trubisky with you. We talked about Justin Fields with you. And I wondered, when you watch Caleb, do you think he sees it, to use your parlance? Do you think he sees it?
No, yeah, and there's no question he does. He's got the quick mental trigger. He can turn it loose. You just don't know what he's been told in the preparation, and that's what's hard for rookies, you know. So much of their success has to do with who has them when they first come in the league. You know, those young kids have got to have answers for everything. They can't be thrown in the game and be expected to cipher it all out, you know. So against cover 2, ball goes here in this play. Against cover 3, it's got to stay down to the tight end, that kind of thing. So when they see it, boom, it goes out. So it becomes just a reaction of games. They don't have to think about things. And it takes a lot of time with these young players to get them in that position. And this is why I'm so excited to see Ben with him. That's just magic. I know I'm carrying on, and I don't talk like this about players and coaches. You know that. I maybe don't. No, but he has been as good as I've seen. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, you've been very real with us. You kind of talked us out of Justin Fields at one point when we were arguing for him. So you are credible, sir. You called him a once in a generation talent, and some of that comes with his play calling ability. So Matt and I were kicking it around earlier. What kind of, because I assume Ben Johnson will design and call the plays for the Bears. I'm assuming that he's going to do that. So what kind of offensive coordinator does a guy like that need? Or does it really matter if you have a once in a generation head coach who's calling plays for you?
I went through that. And I wanted to, and just from an ego standpoint, I had an opportunity to hire a guy. I don't know, done a great job of taking the load off of me. Because after 3 or 4 years of that, it just beat me down. I just didn't have enough time. It's one of the reasons I got sick. And then I know there's plenty of guys that do it, but I mean, it's just so consuming. He has to have somebody when the game plan can do all the general work from putting it together with the players.
Yeah. But you think he should call plays, though, right, Benjamin? Just to be clear,
call plays once. He'll be in installation, and the game planning part of it, and he'll call plays. But what he won't have to do, he won't have to get down and draw cards for the practice, do scripts, stuff that just takes hours and hours out of your day to do. That's just wears you out. So, yeah, I think it's probably. One of those deals where he'll get somebody that he knows, that's familiar with how he likes to do things, and they'll come in and do the busy work for him and allow him to free up to call plays, etc.
It's pretty interesting. We're talking to Mike Martz here on the Spiegel and Holmes show. He's been an offensive coordinator on the sideline for years now, and I don't know if that's by design, but that's oftentimes an adjustment that an OC has to make. He doesn't have to do that, and it also means that he's interacted with players more amidst the heat of it, and that part of it, that interaction and like communicating with guys and leading guys during the course of a game. There's he's got some more experience on that than some other OCs getting elevated would.
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons to be on the sideline as a coordinator. There's a real advantage for calling plays to be upstairs, no question. But the part about being on the sideline, you hit the nail on the head there, is his presence, his personality. Even if he doesn't say it, his presence will affect the team. He'll have answers for him. When things are going bad, that's who everybody looks to, the coordinator, the quarterback, and of course the head coach. So he's there to calm things down or get him going again or make corrections during the game, whatever. The other advantage that you have that I found out calling plays on the sidelines is I'd stand about 10 yards or so away from the line of scrimmage, and I saw things differently. I saw shades a little bit different. I could see corners look on their face when they line up on one of your guys, and you can see that look, oh no, just don't go deep, that kind of thing, And it just kind of, you get a better feel for the game when you can see what's going on out there, and you get feedback, and then you can. It's just. I really liked being on the field just because of being involved in just a different level. It's not so sterile, and obviously the upstairs you can see things at a different level and all that stuff and take notes, but you don't have any interaction with the players, and you have to have that.
Mike Martz here with us on the Score. It's interesting you mentioned getting sick. Hope you're feeling well. That was a long time. It's 20, almost 20. It is 20 years ago that you got sick and had to step away. Hope everything's going well on that front, sir.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. Wondering if Ben is going to stay committed to the run game. You guys, you offensive coordinators. We talked to Dirk Cutter last week, and I remember asking Dirk, what it does sometimes, I think we were asking about Todd Monken. He's like, and I'm like, do you guys, does he fall out of, forget that you got to run the ball? And he's like, we all do. Dirk Cutter said, we all do. It's just, it happens. It's so clearly a massive part of what the Lions do. and teams knowing that they can do it, do you think he'll stay committed to it as a head coach?
That's a loaded question. You know, we ran the ball. We were always in the top 5 in terms of rushing the ball, but people think that we never ran the ball.
Talking about St. Louis days, Coach.
Yeah,
I assume. With Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, and he right. And then Forte, until he got hurt that second year I was up there, he was going to have the best year in the history of the league. I mean, his numbers were just off the charts. You know, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was 40 or 45% of our offense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he was a ton of it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if he was headed to be the greatest player in the world that year.
In numbers though, the numbers were ridiculous. You go back and look at his numbers when he got hurt, and it's just stupid. You know what he's about to. He's going to be a 1,000 guy for sure. Wow. But anyway, that doesn't make any difference at this point. My point is this:
it's a loaded question. I'm sorry, Coach. All right, give it to me.
That's right. It's just you play with what you got. You know, we didn't have Matt Forte, then we're going to have to find something else. You know, you go to when they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. You remember all the laughter? What?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Why are you taking him in the first round? You're crazy.
It did seem silly. It did seem silly, Mike.
No, but I tell you what, I did a piece for the 33rd team on Jahmyr Gibbs when they drafted him, a week or two after they drafted him. You know, if you can find it, look it up. It had broke him down completely. This is the best pick they could have made.
Wow.
They laughed at him because of Campbell, the inside backer. They took him too soon. Yeah, that's not right. You know, so they know what to do. So the whole idea is personnel driven. You know, we got to throw in the football a little bit more at times when Marshall got nicked. You know, when his knee, I knew nobody knew his knees were sore. I knew. So you got to be careful the load that you put on these guys. And we had, by the way, some pretty good receivers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, and people were a little bit behind on what we were doing. They didn't quite know how to handle it. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that, right? So
yeah.
I think it'll be predicated on they're going to run the football. You know, to be a good football team. The first thing you do, guys, when you go into camp to make a tough team is you rush the football against each other, against the defense. You develop the offense and defense line, that mental toughness, physical. That's what you do. And you got to be able to come back and win games by running. There's no question. So he'll get that established, but he's going to have to get a back in there or two, you know, that can do what he wants to do as well. You know, they've got to get better protections, obviously. So he'll do, you know, that'll be a makeover for sure. But what will happen is he'll elevate guys that people thought were average. All of a sudden, they're playing really good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because DeAndre Swift, they had him a few years ago and then let him go in Detroit. So I don't know if that's a fit for what he wants to do. You know?
Well, what they were trying to do in Detroit is a slugfest inside. They wanted a guy to move the pile inside, not just speed. And Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy too. When he hits you, he'll try to run through you as well. Yeah. And so Swift I think he was banged up a lot for him, if I recall. And he just kind of wasn't that violent runner inside that they're looking for.
Yep. Mike Martz, all right, so thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. You think the Bears hit a home run with Ben Johnson?
No, yeah, there's no question they did. I'm so excited about what's ahead for Chicago.
Caleb's going to be a star? He'll make Caleb into a star?
Well, Caleb is a star. He's not going to make him. He's going to help him.
Okay.
You know, he's got. You know, that's a joint effort there. You can't make somebody something. You can give him all the opportunities and encourage him, and you know, all that kind of stuff.
But Caleb's got it, right? He's got it, like Ben Johnson has it.
He has it. They both have it. That is no question.
That's what I needed to hear.
Hey, Coach, you make us smarter every time, and we'll check back in as Ben and Caleb get rolling together here in